I never thought I'd torch my own family for a slice of the American dream. But there I was, key in hand, watching flames of eviction lick at the edges of their borrowed lives. Betrayal tastes like cheap champagne, bubbly at first, then it burns going down, leaving you hollow and hungry for payback. And mine. It started with a signature on a dotted line that wasn't mine, sealing me into a prison of debt and deceit while they partied on my dime. It was the summer of 2023, and Chicago's skyline was my prison yard. I'd clawed my way up from nothing, a kid from the South Side projects, scraping by on community college loans and waitressing shifts at dive bars where the tips were greasy and the drunks were handsy. By 28, I'd flipped that hustle into something real, a $2.3 million luxury condo tower in River North, all glass and steel, with rooftop views that screamed, I made it. The building was my baby, my revenge against every teacher who'd written me off as just another statistic. I'd named it Mila's Mark, subtle, right? A nod to the scar on my left cheek from a foster home brawl, but mostly to remind myself, every mark you take, you give back twice as hard. My family. They were the ghosts I'd buried deep. Mom bailed when I was 6, chasing some trucker to Reno with my college fund tucked in her bra. Dad. He stuck around long enough to teach me how to hotwire a Chevy, then got pinched for boosting cars in '09. Prison letters dried up after year 2. Last I heard, he was shacked up with a parole officer in Gary, Indiana, popping out kids like it was a hobby. Then there was Uncle Ray, Dad's half-brother, the silver-tongued salesman who'd swoop in every Christmas with knockoff Rolexes and promises of one big score. Ray was the charmer, the one who'd pat my head and say, "Kid, family's blood. Blood don't lie. Bullshit. Blood just bleeds you dry." I hadn't seen them in a decade when Ray showed up at my closing on the building. It was a muggy July afternoon, the kind where the humidity clings like regret. I was in the lobby, signing escrow papers with my realtor, a slick guy named Trent from Gold Coast Properties, when the revolving doors spat out Ray like a bad burrito. He was paunchier than I remembered, his cheap suit straining at the seams, but that grin? Still sharp as a switchblade. "Mila, baby girl. Look at you, queen of the castle." He enveloped me in a bear hug that smelled of Old Spice and desperation, his meaty paws slapping my back like we were long-lost war buddies. Trent cleared his throat, eyeing Ray like he was a stray dog. "Family?" he asked, pen hovering. "Yeah," I said, peeling Ray off. Distant. "What the hell are you doing here?" Ray winked, pulling a crumpled envelope from his pocket. "Heard through the grapevine. Dad's grapevine, that is. Congrats on the big buy. Figured I'd drop by, see if my favorite niece needs a little insurance." He slid the envelope across the marble counter. Inside was a policy quote from some fly-by-night firm, promising flood coverage for pennies. "Family discount," he murmured, eyes darting to Trent. I laughed it off, laughed harder when Mom called that night from a blocked number, her voice slurry with gin. "Mila, honey, Ray says you're loaded now. Send a little something for your cousins? They're starving out here in the sticks." Cousins I didn't know existed, popping up like weeds after rain. By week's end, Dad's latest postcard arrived. "Proud of ya, kid. Wire me $500 for bail. Love, Pops." I ghosted them. Changed my number, blocked the emails. The building was mine, 120 units, leased to tech bros and influencer wives who paid premium for the urban oasis vibe. I ran it lean. Solar panels on the roof, a gym with Pelotons nobody used, and a concierge named Luis who vetted tenants like he was CIA. Revenue poured in. $15K a month net after the mortgage bite. For the first time, I slept without one eye open. But Ray? He was a cockroach. Slipped through the cracks. A month in, Luis buzzed me. "Ms. Mila, your uncle's here again. Says it's urgent. Something about the deed." I met him in the lobby cafe, nursing a black coffee that tasted like battery acid. Ray slid into the booth, uninvited, a manila folder under his arm. "Legal stuff, kiddo. Dad co-signed on that loan back in the day, remember? For your ma's nursing school? Small potatoes, but the bank's got records." My stomach dropped. Nursing school? Mom had dropped out after one semester to chase that trucker. But Ray was spinning, his voice low and oily. "See, when Pops went inside, he transferred some assets to me for safekeeping. Tiny lien on the property, nothing major. But if we don't clear it..." He flipped open the folder. A forged addendum to my mortgage docs, Dad's shaky signature looped at the bottom, dated 2015. It claimed a $50,000 familial advance against future earnings, my earnings, apparently. That's bullshit, I hissed, shoving the papers back. I bought this cash. Well, mostly. No liens. Ray leaned in, breath like stale cigars. Banks don't care about bullshit, Mila. They foreclose on whispers. But hey, family's got your back. I can make it vanish. For a favor. The favor? Seed money for his startup, a vape shop chain targeting underserved communities. $100,000 upfront, and he'd handle the paperwork. I told him to fuck off. He left laughing, promising. Blood calls to blood, niece. Weeks blurred into paranoia. Bills spiked. Unexplained maintenance fees siphoned to offshore accounts. Tenants complained of leaks that weren't there, elevators stalling on random floors. Then the audit hit. My lender, First Chicago Trust, flagged irregularities. A junior exec named Carla Ruiz called, her tone all honeyed concern. Ms. Hale, we've uncovered a co-borrower on your title. Raymond Hale. Care to explain? Raymond Hale. Uncle Ray's full name. My blood ran cold. He'd wormed his way onto the deed. How? Bribes? Forged notary? I lawyered up overnight. A shark named Elena Vasquez from Loop Litigation, who chain-smoked Marlboros and billed $600 an hour. This is identity theft wrapped in nepotism, she growled, scanning the docs. But proving it, that's a jury's game. And juries love family drama. Elena dug deep. Turns out, Ray had sweet-talked Dad in prison, convinced him to sign over guardian rights to me as a minor, then leveraged that into a quiet co-ownership claim during my closing. Trent, my realtor? He'd buried it in the fine print, pocketing a $10,000 kickback from Ray. Mom. She'd notarized the damn thing in a Reno casino, drunk off her ass, for a $500 wire transfer. My family hadn't just betrayed me. They'd built their castle on my bones. I confronted Ray at his office, a strip mall kiosk in Pilsen, shelves stocked with knockoff jewels. He was mid-haggle with a teen when I burst in, Elena's cease and desist clutched like a grenade. You parasitic fuck, I spat. Get off my title, or I'd bury you in court. Ray's face flipped, charmed to venom in a heartbeat. Bury me? Girl, without me, you'd still be slinging hash browns. This building? It's blood money. Dad's sweat in those engines he stole to feed you. We're partners now. He jabbed a finger at my chest. Or you want the whole South Side knowing Mila Hale's a fraud. Built her empire on Daddy's jail time. The threat landed like a gut punch. Chicago's rumor mill was merciless. One whisper of embezzlement ties, and my tenants would bolt. Lenders would call the note. But Ray didn't stop. He escalated. Started visiting, crashing the lobby with his brood. Mom, bleary-eyed and chain-smoking. Dad, out on parole, sporting a fresh ankle monitor and a beer gut. And the cousins, a pack of feral 20-somethings with face tats and felony raps. They toured the units, ogling my tenants' flat screens, accidentally spilling Red Bull on the Persian rugs. I barred them. Luis installed keycard locks, cameras in the halls. But Ray lawyered up too, a public defender who moonlighted as a fixer. Countersuits flew, defamation, emotional distress. My legal fees hemorrhaged, $40K in a month. Nights, I'd pace my penthouse, the city lights mocking me from the floor-to-ceiling windows. Was this the dream? Build it high, watch family dynamite the foundation? The breaking point came on my birthday, October 15th. I'd planned a quiet night, takeout from Giordano's, a bottle of Napa Cab, but Louise called at 8 p.m. sharp. Ms. Mila, we've got intruders in the rooftop lounge. Intruders. My family. Ray had picked the lock. Turns out one cousin was an ex-locksmith, paroled for B&E. They'd turned the space into a full-blown rager. Folding tables groaning under Costco sheet cakes, a Bluetooth speaker blasting Luke Bryan, and 30 guests, neighbors from Pilsen, parole buddies, even Mom's bingo crew from the senior center. Balloons bobbed against the string lights I'd installed for corporate mixers, and Dad was grilling brats on my $5,000 Weber, grease popping like gunfire. I rode the elevator up, heart hammering. The doors parted to laughter, raucous, uninvited. Ray spotted me first, hoisting a solo cup. Surprised niece. Family reunion. Figured you'd forgotten what blood feels like. Mom tottered over, arms wide. Her moo-moo stained with what smelled like Boone's farm. Happy birthday, baby. We brought the whole clan. The cousins catcalled, one flashing a gang sign that made my skin crawl. Dad just nodded, flipping a burger, his eyes avoiding mine. Good looking out, kid. Fury boiled over. This wasn't a party, it was an invasion. My sanctuary defiled. Tenants below, woken by the bass thumping through the vents. I grabbed Ray's arm, nails digging in. Get out. Now, or I call the cops. He wrenched free, face twisting into that mountebank sneer. Cops? On your own blood? Go ahead, make the 6 p.m. news. Southside heiress evicts ailing mother. He gestured to Mom, who was now sobbing into a napkin, playing the martyr. The crowd murmured, phones out, filming. Viral bait. I backed away, throat tight. Calling the badges would paint me the villain. Heartless yuppie versus the real folk. But letting them stay? That was surrender. As the elevator dinged shut behind me, sealing me in with my rage, I made the call. Not to 911. To Elena. File the eviction, I whispered into the void. Full nuclear. I want them out by dawn. What followed was war, waged in courtrooms and conference calls, the kind of slow-burn apocalypse that only American bureaucracy can unleash. Elena moved like a viper, motions for summary judgment, affidavits from handwriting experts debunking Dad's sig. We proved the lien was a sham. Ray had photoshopped the addendum, Trent had shredded the originals. But Ray countered viciously. He leaked evidence to the Sun-Times, anonymously, of course, claiming I'd abandoned Dad in prison, funneled building profits to offshore lovers. The headline screamed, Heiress's heartless hustle, family left in the cold? Public opinion split like a fault line. TikTok liberals decried me as gentrifier gone wrong, while conservative podcasters hailed my tough love stand against welfare moochers. Protests brewed outside the lobby, signs reading blood ain't business, clashing with counterchants of private property rights. I became a meme, a lightning rod. Sleepless nights blurred into caffeine-fueled strategy sessions, Elena's office reeking of takeout, lo mein, and desperation. The party, that godforsaken bash, became ground zero. Ray claimed it was a charitable event, invited under familial easement. Bullshit. Elena subpoenaed the footage, cousins pocketing silverware, Dad's ankle monitor beeping warnings as he chugged PBR. We argued trespass, nuisance, even endangerment. Mom had lit a cigarette near the gas grill, nearly torching the whole deck. The judge, a grizzled ex-prosecutor named Harlan Fisk, eyed me over his bifocals during the hearing. Ms. Hale, this is family. Can't you mediate? Mediate? With vipers? I testified in a voice steady as rebar. Your Honor, they didn't just invade my home. They stole my future. Forged documents, bled my accounts dry. This party was their victory lap. Ray took the stand next, tears glistening, crocodile masterpieces. She's turned her back on her roots, Judge. We raised her. Now she wants us homeless. The courtroom hummed with tension, reporters scribbling furiously. Fisk adjourned, promising a ruling by week's end. I left feeling exposed, raw, like I'd bared my scars for strangers to poke. But Ray wasn't done flipping the script. That night, as I nursed a scotch in my penthouse, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Dad's voice, gravelly and small. Mila. Kiddo. Ray's lying. The lien? That was his idea. I signed cause he said it'd help you, get you the loan faster. He pocketed the kickback. Mom. She don't know nothing. It's all him. My world tilted. Dad. My absentee anchor confessing? Why tell me now? I choked. Cause he's planning worse. Got a crew coming tomorrow, torch the lobby if we lose. Make it look like you did it. Insurance scam. Get you blacklisted. Betrayal's second wave crashed harder. Ray, the puppet master, willing to burn it all. My dream, his own brother's life, for a payout. Dad begged, drop the suit. Walk away. For me. I hung up, tears hot on my cheeks. Walk away? After they gambled my life like chips at a blackjack table? No. Dawn broke gray and unforgiving. Elena's email pinged at 6 a.m. Fisk's ruling. Full eviction granted. Immediate possession. Security authorized to remove all unauthorized occupants. The climax unfolded like a fever dream. I led the charge. Me, Luis, 2 off-duty CPD officers, and a locksmith crew, storming the rooftop at 7:15. The party detritus lingered. Crushed cans, wilted streamers, the air thick with stale smoke. Ray's clan was crashed out. Mom snoring on a lounger, cousins sprawled like roadkill, Dad nursing a hangover by the railing. Ray himself? Perched on the edge, surveying his kingdom, a smirk playing on his lips until he saw me. "Time's up," I said, voice echoing off the glass. The cops flashed badges. Luis unrolled the yellow tape. "Eviction order. Vacate now, or it's misdemeanor trespass." Ray's mask cracked, charm curdling to rage. "You cold bitch. This is war." He lunged, not at me, but at Mom, yanking her up by the arm, shoving her toward the officers like a human shield. "Arrest her. She's the owner, co-owner." Mom wailed, flailing. Cousins surged, phones out, live streaming the chaos. "Police brutality," one yelled, though the cops hadn't touched a soul. Dad stepped forward, hands raised. "Ray, stop. It's over." But Ray whirled, eyes wild. "Over? For you, maybe. You think I don't know you snitched." He pulled a lighter from his pocket, flicked it, flame dancing like a dare. Touched it to a streamer dangling from the pergola. Fabric whooshed, orange tongues licking upward. Panic erupted. Cops tackled Ray. Luis grabbed a fire extinguisher, foam hissing. I froze, watching the flames kiss the dry garland, seconds from inferno. Dad barreled past, slamming into Ray, the two tumbling in a heap of curses and fists. "You motherfucker. Not my girl." The rooftop dissolved into bedlam. Sirens wailing below, tenants evacuating in bathrobes, news choppers thumping overhead. Ray's lighter clattered free, sparks snuffed by Luis's boot. As the cops cuffed him, arson attempt, resisting, the crowd parted. Mom collapsed against me, sobbing apologies. "He promised. Said it was for us." Dad met my eyes, blood trickling from a split lip. "I'm sorry, kid. For everything." I nodded, numb. The fire was out, but the burn lingered. By noon, Ray was in lockup, his crew scattered like roaches. Trent faced fraud charges. Mom entered rehab, courtesy of a guilty plea deal. Dad, he vanished again, left a note. Proud this time. For real. The building stood, scarred but standing. Tenants trickled back, whispering about the wild night. Revenue dipped, PR nightmare, but rebounded with a resilient Oasis rebrand. I sold a few units, patted the coffers. Was it victory? Hell if I know. Forums exploded. Mila's a hero, standing up to deadbeat kin, versus she's a monster, evicting Granny for granite counters? The twist? Weeks later, Elena uncovered Ray's ace. He'd planted evidence framing me for the original forgeries. A thumb drive in his safe, doctored emails painting me as the schemer. If he'd won, I'd be the felon, him the victim. Debate rages in my DMs. Justice or cruelty? I stare at the skyline now, scar itching. Family's blood, all right. But sometimes, you gotta cauterize the vein to save the heart. The smoke from that rooftop skirmish hung over Chicago like a bad omen, seeping into my dreams for weeks. Twisted visions of flames devouring not just streamers, but faces. Ray's smirking mug melting into Dad's guilty eyes. Mom's pleas curling into ash. I'd won the battle, sure. Eviction stamped. Ray rotting in Cook County Jail on a $250,000 bond he couldn't touch. But victory in America ain't a trophy. It's a bill. Legal fees tallied $187,000. PR firm another $50,000 to spin the family feud into empowerment tale. My inbox overflowed with hate mail. Enjoy your blood money. You soulless climber. And sympathy spam. As a survivor of toxic kin, you're my queen. I doubled down on the fortress. Installed panic buttons in every unit. Hired a PI named Frankie. Ex-fed with a buzz cut and a flask to tail any hail stragglers. Luis got a raise and a Glock permit. We even ran drills, tenants bleeding like sheep in the stairwells. Safety first, I'd say, forcing a smile. Inside, though, paranoia gnawed like termites. Every shadow in the lobby was Ray's ghost, every wrong number a cousin's taunt. Mom checked into rehab upstate, some lakeside joint called Willow Bend, all yoga mats and group hugs. I footed the bill, $12,000 a month, telling myself it was mercy, not manipulation. Our calls were scripted. How's the food, Ma? Rubbery, but the counselor's a doll. Lies both ways. She never mentioned the party, the shove, the lighter's flicker. Just gratitude, laced with that old slur. You're doing so good, baby. Don't let us drag you down. Drag me down? They'd launched me into orbit, then yanked the tether. Dad's note haunted my nightstand. Creased, ink-smudged. Proud this time. For real. Where was he? Frankie tracked him to a halfway house in Englewood, bunking with ex-cons, flipping burgers at Harold's Chicken Shack. I drove by once, incognito in a Cubs cap and rental Hyundai, watching him bag fries through the grease-fogged window. He looked smaller, shoulders hunched like the weight of his fuck-ups had finally settled. I didn't go in. What do you say? Thanks for the forgery that nearly bankrupted me. Ray's trial was the real circus, set for January, but pre-trials dragged like a hangover. Elena prepped me like a boxer. Depositions, character witnesses, the works. He's flipping, Mila. She confided over Cuban sandwiches in her office, rain lashing the loop windows. Blames Dad for the lien, Mom for the notary. Says you orchestrated the whole invasion to drum up sympathy. Insurance hike ploy. I barked a laugh, bitter as dregs. Me? The mastermind? Guy's delusional. Not delusional, desperate. DA's offering 18 months if he rats on bigger fish. Remember Trent? That kickback? Ray's got dirt on half the Gold Coast realtors. Ghost LLCs, money laundering through flips. The web widened. Turns out, Ray's vape startup was a front, smuggling untaxed Chinese imports, laundering via pills and bodegas. My building? Just one thread in his tapestry of scams. He'd targeted family assets for years. Dad's old Chevy impounded for back taxes that Ray pocketed. Mom's inheritance from a dead aunt vanished into his investments. And me? The golden goose, too green to spot the fox in the henhouse. Controversy brewed hotter. A podcaster, some bro named Jax from Windy City Whispers, dropped an episode. Mila Hale, victim or vixen? Guests debated. A social worker claiming I'd traumatized Mom into relapse. A libertarian lawyer praising my rugged individualism. Clips went viral. 10 million views. My face plastered on billboards for a true crime docuseries pitch. Offers rolled in. Netflix wanted my story, with creative liberties. I ghosted them. This wasn't entertainment. It was my intros on display. But the real gut punch? The tenants. Half my units sat vacant post-party. Techies fleeing the drama magnet. Influencers chasing quieter vibes in Lincoln Park. Revenue cratered 40%, mortgage payments looming like guillotines. I slashed rents, hosted Unity barbecues on the roof, sans grills this time. But whispers lingered. Is she stable? That family sounds psycho. One holdout, a yoga instructor named Priya, cornered me in the elevator. Mila, I get it, boundaries. But evicting your own mom? That's heavy. Heavy? Try tectonic. I mumbled something about toxic cycles, escaped to my penthouse. There, alone with the hum of the HVAC, I cracked. Sobs racked me. Ugly, snotty heaves. For the girl who dreamed of this view without the venom. Betrayal wasn't just Ray's knife. It was the mirror, reflecting how I'd internalized their chaos, built walls so high even I couldn't scale them. Frankie's report snapped me back. Dad had skipped the halfway house. Vanished. With a $200 ATM withdrawal from a Chase near the United Center. Guys spooked. Frankie grunted over burner coffee at a diner off Michigan Avenue. Ray's lawyer's been sniffing, subpoena threats. Your pops might bolt to Indy. Lay low with that parole gal. I paid him double to find him. Not for reunion, for closure. Or so I told myself. The holidays hit like a freight train. Thanksgiving with Elena's crew, a forced cheer of turkey and tequila shots. Christmas Eve, I strung lights on my balcony, the city a glittering apology. Then the doorbell, Luis, holding a manila envelope, postmarked Gary. Inside, Dad's handwriting. Kid, couldn't face the trial. Ray's poison, always was. The mistake? That lien was my sin. Signed it thinking it'd buy you a future, but Ray twisted it. Took the cash for his schemes. I bore nothing but shame. Forgive? Nah. But no, you're the mark that matters. Not scars. Build higher. Pops. Taped inside, a check. $8,500. His burger wages, scraped together. Enough for one mortgage payment, maybe. I framed it, check and note. Hung it by the door like a talisman. New Year's dawned with snow, blanketing the loop and hush. Ray's bond hearing, denied. He'd rot till trial, scheming from a cell. Mom graduated Willow Bend, sober 6 months, send a card, one day at a time. Love, flawed but fighting. No ask for cash. Progress? But the twist, the one that still keeps me up, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin, came in February. Elena called at 3 a.m., Mila, turn on Channel 5. Ray's mugshot filled the screen, disheveled, ranting to reporters as deputies hauled him to transport. It's all her. Mila Hale framed me, planted that lighter. She's the arsonist, covering her embezzlement. Embezzlement? My blood iced. Cut to the anchor. Breaking. Sources close to the Hale family feud allege the building's owner, Mila Hale, diverted tenant deposits to personal accounts. Over $300,000 missing. My world imploded. Who leaked? Frankie's digging unearthed the mole. Trent, out on bail, spilling to prosecutors for a deal. But the docs he found, forged, Ray's handiwork, smuggled via a jailhouse visit. A final flip, his magnum opus. Paint me the villain, collect on a civil suit from his victims. The DA paused the eviction appeal. Auditors swarmed my books. I lawyered harder. Elena pulling all-nighters. Frankie tailing Trent to a safe house in Oak Park. Climax redux. We raided it. Seized a laptop with the fakes timestamped to Ray's IP. Trent flipped like a pancake. Testified Ray coerced him. Promised a cut of my foreclosure fire sale. Ray's empire crumbled. Arson bumped to conspiracy. Vapes to racketeering. Sentenced to 12 years. No parole. Mom testified against him. Brave. Broken. Earning her a diverted sentence. Dad. Frankie found him in a Gary motel. Suicide watch after a bender. I visited once. Sterile room, his eyes hollow. End it, kid, he rasped. The story. Don't let it define you. I didn't end it. But I rewrote the ending. Sold Mila's mark for $3.1 million. Profit after the bloodbath. Reinvested in a South Side co-op. Affordable units. Job training hubs. No Hales on the board. Tenants like Priya, building from the ground up. Readers, viewers, whatever, still argue. Was my revenge justice, or just another cycle of hurt? Did I save myself, or doom them? The scar on my cheek fades, but the one inside? It itches eternal. In America, payback's a mirror, reflects the monster you fear, the hero you chase. Choose your reflection wisely. Or don't. Sometimes, shattering the glass is the only win. Epilogue's a bitch in this town. Chicago don't do tidy bows, it ties knots that choke. Spring thawed the snow, but not the chill in my bones. The co-op launch was a media wet dream. Ribbon cutting with the mayor, selfies with community leaders, headlines crooning, from feud to fairness. Mila Hale's redemption arc. I played the part, tailored blazer, practice smile, shaking hands with folks who'd once picketed my lobby. Empowerment starts at home. I'd quip, dodging the subtext. Whose home? Mine or yours? Truth? The victory lap felt hollow, like jogging a track laced with landmines. Mom relocated to a halfway house in Evanston. Sober, employed as a cashier at Whole Foods. We met for coffee once a month, neutral ground. Neutral creamer in styrofoam cups, small talk skirting the abyss. Proud of the co-op, Ma, I'd say. She'd nod, eyes misty. You got the spine I never did. No hugs. Progress, jagged-edged. Dad's trail went cold after the motel. Frankie quit the case. 2 ghosts, not enough green, but rumors trickled. Gary dive bars, a string of evictions mirroring mine. Irony, or echo. I wired him cash anonymously. $1K here, $2,000 there, through a P.O. box. Not forgiveness. Insurance. Against the day he shows, begging or brandishing. Ray? He lawyered appeals from Supermax, letters smuggled to tabloids. Mila's the real crook, framed her uncle for clout. They sold papers, sparked Reddit rants. Team Ray. Family over filthy lucre. Versus Mila's a boss. Cut the cords, sis. Polarized to the marrow, just like Elena predicted. The docuseries dropped, blood on the ledger. Narrated by some gravel-voiced actor, my interviews scripted recreations. It topped Netflix, spawned think pieces. Is revenge the new American gospel? I watched one episode, muted, glass of bourbon sweating in my fist. The party scene, actors in bad wigs, confetti too cartoonish, made me snort. But the twist reveal? Chilling. Ray's planted evidence, my near ruin. Cut to Mila, brunette extra with my cheek scar via makeup, staring at the skyline. Betrayal's a debt. I just collected, with interest. Interest. Yeah, the co-op thrived, 80% occupancy, grants flowing for after-school programs. I mentored kids from the projects, Southside Echoes. Dream big, but guard your deed. They laughed, eyes wide. One girl, Tia, 14 with braids and a sketch pad, drew me as a skyscraper queen. Crown of rebar, throne of eviction notices. You're controversial, Ms. Mila, she said. Like, half the class hates you, half wants your life. Hates the spice, kid. Makes the meal memorable. Summer scorched in, humidity resurrecting ghosts. A package arrived at the co-op office. No return address, bubble wrap crinkling under my nails. Inside, a Zippo lighter, engraved blood calls. Raise, from the rooftop. Note attached, keep it warm. Appeals hearing next month. See you in court, niece. Uncle. My hands shook, rage or fear. Both. Elena scoffed, slaps suit incoming. Counter with harassment. But I didn't sue. Mailed it back, with a check for his commissary, $100. Buy stamps. Write your own ending. Petty? Maybe. Or Mercy's ugly cousin. The real debate igniter hit Labor Day. Frankie resurfaced, boozy voicemail. Found your pops. Bad shape. Cancer. Liver. 6 months, tops. I drove to the hospice in Tinley Park, AC blasting against the sweat beating my temples. Room 214. Beeps and bleach, Dad's skeletal under the sheets, tubes snaking like accusations. He stirred as I entered, eyes cracking open, milky, but mine. Knew you'd come. Lies. Frankie snitched. A wheeze laugh. Good man. Mila. The twist. Ray wasn't the start. Your ma. We covered for her. 89, before you. Boosted a pharmacy, perks for her habit. I took the fall, first stretch. She got clean, sorta. Lied to you all these years. We bore the mistake. For her. The room spun. Mom's nursing school. A junkie's fever dream, funded by theft I'd shouldered blindly. Foster care, scraps, the scar from that brawl over her lessons. Betrayal cubed. Not just stolen future, but stolen past. Dad's hand, papery, gripped mine. Don't tell her. Let her have peace. You're free now. Build without us. He faded that night. Quiet, no dramatics. I arranged the service. Potter's Field plot. 10 attendees including a cousin who showed for the free lunch. Mom wept silently beside me, clueless to the bomb. I held it, a live wire in my gut. Tell her? Shatter her fragile sobriety? Or bury it deeper, become the secret keeper? The funeral sparked the final forum firestorm. Leaks, Frankie's loose lips, hit the pods. Mila's dad, sacrificial lamb or deadbeat deluxe. Debates raged, heroic cover-up or enabling cycle. I went dark, social scrubbed, number changed. Focused on the co-op, expansion plans, solar retrofits, a roof garden sand streamers. Ending? Pick your poison. Happy. I thrive, untethered, a self-made scar amid the steel. Tragic. The bloodstain lingers. Every lease a reminder of invaded trust. Controversial. Who judges? The betrayed avenger, or the family that forged her? Me? I light a candle on the penthouse ledge. No flame, electric, safe. Watch it flicker against the night. Chicago hums below. Hustle, hurt, horizon. Revenge wasn't eviction, it was excavation. Dug up the rot, planted something green. If it withers, I'll dig again. Blood calls, but I'm deaf now. Ears tuned to the city's pulse, mine to make.